Hi, blessings, blessings, blessings. Welcome to the Accounting Academy. Today we're going to look at a cash book past paper question. Yes, cash books are super important. Please ensure that you understand cash book, all right? And you do as many questions as possible. Today's question, we're looking at January 2017, number 3. All right, so on the screen right now, we have the past paper question. Again, this is January 2017, number 3. Um, and I have my cash book already rolled up. As I go through the transactions, I will go down to my cash book and make the relevant entry. First thing first, take your time and read through the question. So we start with for the month ended 30th of April 2016. Stress Ease Enterprises recorded the following cash and bank transaction. Okay, so we have a table here. We have to pull the information from the table and put it across into our cash book. As you go through each transaction, look to see whether the business is receiving money or the business is paying money out. We start as usual with our bank or cash balance, which sometimes could be a debit or a credit balance. In this case, they don't tell you whether it's a debit or a credit. So go with what is normal for a bank or a cash account, which is a debit opening balance. All right, so 1st of April, we have a balance in our bank account, and we also have a balance on the business premises. So let's go make that entry. All right, and that is what the entry is supposed to look like. Your opening balances. Of course, you have a date, you have a details, and in the details column, guys, you don't have to write on the whole transaction. You want to write as little information as possible, and most times you want to write the name of the next account that is going to be affected. So for the second transaction here, which happened on the 3rd of April, it says insurance payment made by check. All right, so money came out of the bank account because it was paid by a check, and the amount that came out was 2,500. So we're going to go back to our cash book, and we're going to make an entry on the right hand side, which is also known as the credit side. All payments should be entered on your right hand side or your credit side. On the left hand side or the debit side of our cash book, we enter all receipts, which is money that we receive. So for this transaction, we paid our insurance. We're going to make an entry in our credit side of the cash book. All right. There you go. The 2,500 is under the bank balance because the money came out from the bank account. The money that the business had on the premises was not affected by that payment, so the cash column stays intact. All right. On the 5th of April, the client received rescue fees in cash. All right, so they get $25,690. That's the amount of cash they received. 2,500 was sent to the bank immediately. So they put 690 in the cash account or in the cash drawer or whatever you want to call it. $690 stayed on the premises, the business premises. 25,000 went into the business bank account one time. So we're going to go to the cash book. I'm going to go a little bit slow because I want to make sure you understand. We're going to go to our cash book and we're going to have to make an entry on the left hand side. Anytime you're doing a cash book question, ask yourself what the transaction is telling you. Ask yourself, what is happening with this transaction? Am I receiving money or am I paying money? Is the money going to my cash account, which is the money that I have on the premises, or is it going to my bank account? Or is the money coming out of my cash account? Or is the money coming out of my bank account? those are very, very important questions. And if students slow down and take the time to answer those questions, they're going to understand the cash flow better. On the 6th of April, the petty cashier withdraws cash from cash in hand. They didn't tell us what she took the money for or he took the money for, but we know that he or she took 130 from cash in hand. All right, so as I'm going down, make a guess which side is this 130 going to be recorded on. If you guess on the right hand side or the payment side, you are correct. The petty cash was removed from the business cash in hand or the cash on the premises or the cash account. So we have to put 130 on the credit side, but more importantly, it has to go under the cash column because that is where the 130 came from. It came out from the money that we have in our hand. Okay? Let's go back up. Moving along nicely. Purchases of spare parts by check. So in this transaction on the 7th of April, the business purchased spare parts by check. Now the cash book is used to record all cash receipts and all cash payments, right? Whether it's by check or not. Once the amount of money the business has is affected, it has to be recorded in the cash book. So we purchased spare parts for $10,470. Let's go make that entry. And I want to encourage you to also do this question on your own and then come back to look at the answer. All right? So on the 7th of April, they purchased spare parts for $10,470. That is how you record that transaction. Unfortunately, I cannot split my screen right now, so I have to go up and down. All right? Engine repair paid by check. So that happened on the 8th. Look for the cursor moving on my screen. On the 8th of April, they paid for engine repair by check. Once you see that by check, it means that your bank account is being affected. If I have $1,000 in my hand right now, let's say I have $1,000 in my left hand, and I use my right hand and write a check, I will still have $1,000 in my left hand. However, when the person cashed that check, I will still have $1,000 in my left hand, but how much the money that I have in my bank account is going to go down. Whatever money I have in my bank account is going to go down, but I will still have my $1,000 in my hand. Okay, so once you see that by check phrase, that is a key word or phrase, and it's going to mean that you're going to have to adjust your bank account. All right, so 5,000 came out of our bank account for engine repairs. Notice that I'm not putting the full sentence on the details. I'm only putting the name of the account that is going to be affected. So my petty cash account was affected when I took all the 130. Spare parts account was affected when I took all the 10,470. Right? Engine repairs was affected when I removed the 5,000. Please do not go write the whole transaction in the details column. One, you're going to waste time, and two, it's going to show that you do not fully understand. So you're only going to put the name of the account that is going to be affected. On the 9th, the owner withdrew cash from bank for house rent. Now this is for personal use. And that means your drawings account is going to be affected. And they told you cash from bank. So this 8,000 has to go under your bank column. All right. So drawings, 8,000. Drawings is the next account that is going to be affected. All right, so let's go back up. We're moving along nicely. Number 10, the client client rescue fees received in cash. So we got cash. They didn't tell us anything about by check, or they didn't tell us that it was deposited to the bank. So this $31,110 has to be recorded in under our cash column. We receive money, so we're going to have to record that on our receipt side, on our debit side, or on our left hand side, whatever you want to call it. And I'm going to put that in red because I want to highlight it. Okay, so I'm just trying to make it a little bit colorful so that you can follow along easily. So on the 10th of April, we received fees. $31,110 was received in cash. On the 15th, payment to a creditor. So hold up before we read anymore. A payment was made to a creditor or a supplier. All right. So that means we're going to have to make a credit entry. How much we're going to make and where is this amount going to be placed? So let's continue to read now. J. Davis is the creditor and we paid by check. Good. So our bank account is going to be affected, and it's going to be affected with $9,900. So let's read again. Payment to creditor J. Davis by check after discount of 10%. So this 9,900 is after the discount. So that means that this is 90%. You have to find what is the 10% discount, right? And that is going to be 11,100. I may do a question soon on that, on how to find the original price. Right now I have a post on Instagram showing you how to find the original price, but I have not been able to get around to do a video on that as yet. Those who are in my live classes, you guys should have this down packed by now. Sorry. So that transaction actually should be, oh, I skipped something. 11. So we receive, oh, I did skip something. I skipped the transaction on the 11th. All right. So it says here, deposited cash in bank. 30,000 was deposited in the bank. So apparently from the 31,000 we received, the day after, we're now going to deposit that 30,000. So we're going to take that 30,000 from our cash account. We're going to take that 30,000 from the money that we have on hand. All right. And we're going to deposit that into our bank account. That type of entry is called a contra entry. Whenever you take money from your cash account and you put it across in your bank account, that is called a contra entry. You put that in green. Anytime you move money from your bank account and you put it across to your cash account, is a contra entry. A contra entry is basically a transfer of money from your cash to your bank or your bank to your cash. Anytime you move the cash from one account to the next, that is called a contra entry. Your overall amount of money doesn't change, right? It's just the placement of the money changes. So I have that in green. 11th of April, cash was taken out of the bank account, right? The cash account is going to be affected when we credit the bank. When we come across to the payment side, it's almost as if we take $30,000 from the cash account to make a payment. But the thing is, we paid it to ourselves. All right? So this is why you're crediting cash, because you're removing the 30,000 from the cash account and you are debiting it into your bank account. Very important, you must put this C under folio. If you don't know how to get folio, that's going to be another topic for another video. right? But for now, please note once you make a contra entry, you must put C under the folio column. All right, so let me go to the transaction the 15th now. That is the payment to the creditor. All right, so payment to the creditor. Boom, there you go. 15th of April, you have your discount received. All right, remember they told us that because we got a 10% discount, that discount has to go under your discount received column, and the amount that we paid has to go under the bank column, because in this instance we paid by check. Client rescue fees paid for. So we receive client rescue fees. The wording is a bit confusing. But once you do enough past paper questions, you're going to get accustomed to the way they word their questions. So client rescue fees paid for by credit card. So our clients paid us by credit card. It doesn't matter if they pay by credit card or debit card. Once we're receiving money, we're going to have to make a debit entry, right? They went on to say as well that the client was refunded $200 in cash. So this is a two-part question. One part, we received cash. We received $19,200. However, for whatever reason, we gave them a discount of $200. So we are receiving money and we're also paying out money. We're paying out the $200 refund. So that has to be a credit entry. The entire $19,200 though must be recorded first. So let's go record that, the $19,200. Let me put that in a nice color for you all. So much for nice color. All right, so 19,200. That is the fees that we collected on the 18th. And then we also have to go and show the refund. When we collected fees on the 5th of April, look for the cursor moving on my screen. We recorded the cash that was kept on the premises, and we recorded the 25,000 that was sent to the bank. You have to record the entire 19,200 for that transaction that happened on the 18th, and you also have to record the refund. Okay, I hope you're following along. If you have any questions, feel free to leave it in the chat or any comments, depending on where you're looking at this video. On the 23rd, cleaning materials paid in cash. So we paid for cleaning materials via cash. That is basically what that transaction is saying there. Again, once we're making a payment, once we're making a credit, by the time you guys finish with this question, you should have this so totally recorded and engraved in your mind. Once you're making a payment, it has to be recorded on the credit side of your cash book, which is the right-hand side of your cash book. All right, so there you go. You have your payment for cleaning materials recorded in black, and it was paid by cash, so your 370 goes underneath the cash column. We're almost to the end, so bear with me. On the 25th, the client rescue fees deposited immediately in the bank account. So we got the cash and it was deposited immediately in the bank account. Once you see that immediately, and I saw a lot of questions with that over the time, once you see that immediately, deposit that amount in the bank account one time. If you look at what we did before, the 25,000 was deposited immediately in the bank account. So I didn't have to record the 25,690 here. We'll look for the cursor moving on my screen. I didn't have to record the 25,690 in under my cash column and then go take out the 25,000 because they said immediately. All right. If you notice, on the 10th, we received the 31,000 and change. But on the 11th, the money was transferred. Okay, so that is why they made two transactions or two entries there. In this case, client rescue fee was deposited immediately in the bank account. So we have to go record that underneath the bank column. All right, and there you go. All right, so that is your entry there for the 25th of April, where we received the fees, and the fees was deposited immediately. Look out for certain keywords, just as when you're doing maths and you hear the word product, you know, product means to multiply. When you hear immediately in your bank account, that goes straight into your bank account. When you hear total or all together in maths, you know you have to add. Okay, just it's the same thing with accounting. There are certain keywords, and only when you keep doing the questions you're gonna realize. But this same term is appearing over and over. On the 30th, wages paid by check. You see that by check? That is a key term, is a trigger term. It's supposed to help you understand what to do next. All right, so wages paid by check, money is going to come out of our account. Which account is going to come out of? It's going to come out of our bank account because they said it was paid by check. So let's go make that entry. All right, so wages paid by check. Now we have entered all the transactions. Now we have to balance the cash book. All right, this is a 11 marker. They didn't tell you balance it, but that is basically understood. You have to know how to balance a cash book as well. And again, there's a YouTube video on that on the channel. So just go through the videos, you're going to find that. I'm not going to run through the explanation. I don't want the video to be too long. So I'm just going to enter that information in there for you. All right, go check out the video to learn how to balance a cash book. I do want to show you something though. We have a balance carried down of 22,400 under the cash column, and we also have a balance of $34,200 and $34,240 under the bank column. All right. When you start back using your cash book at the beginning of the next month, which will be May in this case, this is what your opening figures should look like. All right. So the balance that you're carrying down is going to be brought down for the next month. Again, any questions, feel free to drop it in the comments. WhatsApp us at 868-709-6136 or find us on Instagram at The Accounting Academy. And there you go there, that's the 11 marks. It could take a lot of work to understand the cash book, so please go do as much questions as possible. And it definitely will have to practice with your speed. All right, because you only have so much time to finish a question when it comes to CSEC. A 20 marker should take you 30 to 36 minutes. 36 minutes is the max. So once you are timing yourself, 36 minutes is the max amount of time you should spend on a 20 marker. So that's it for now. I look forward to seeing your comments and to connecting with you guys on Instagram.